here, Make It Easy, the podcast. Yeah, today I got a special guest. He's an influencer, he's a journalist, he's a entrepreneur. But I personally prefer the journalist side because I feel that's like his niche. But without further ado, Will, the influencer, or Wiser, depending on how you know him. That's who we got today. How you doing, sir?
Dude, it's so good to see you, man. It's been a long time. Thank
Yeah,
you very
man.
much for the podcast. I've been wanting to jump on this since you started. I've been waiting for this interview. So yeah, man, this is going to be tight. So let's go, man.
It's funny. So I was saying at the beginning, like before you came in, I haven't had a lot of episodes, but it's quality over quantity. Like I don't just want to sit down with everyone that you expect me to sit down with, because this is a journalist thing. It's different, and B, like I want you to offer something to my viewers, isn't it? Something that they can learn from, something that they can like be inspired by. Like, that's what the show's about, isn't it? So that's why I've only had certain people on the show, because they have to offer something. Like,
and the thing is, with the platform, same with Ion Bristol, you may see the faces you expect to see, but we bring it from a different angle. So
exactly.
So yeah, we'll see a lot of the same characters, but we're trying to show content that they're building behind the scenes rather than putting the same faces. So I know exactly where you're coming from.
Exactly. So with that, you touched on it. Ion Bristol, yeah. Explain to the people, real slow, what.
All right. So Ion Bristol, I_on_Bristol. Technically stands for information on Bristol, but that has no sort of ring to it. You know, it's kind of like the Bristol Beacon, has no real ring to it. So I was walking around trying to come up with this idea for a Bristol platform, and I had this idea of the Bristol Eye. Again, wasn't really hitting. I made a logo for it, and I was like, no, don't like it. Again, wandered around one day, same as I did when I came up with the Born to Capture thing. I was just out taking pictures and stuff, and I was just kind of trying to come up with something. And like, I was just like, yeah, keeping an eye on Bristol, and that's when I heard it. I was like, Ion Bristol. I was like, but you can't spell it Ion Bristol because that's just going to look dead. It's too much to type. And I was just like, because I was thinking of that information eye inside of it, and eye is a logo.
Okay, yeah.
That's where my brain hit, and I was like, okay, so we got that Ion Bristol thing, and I can just say, we're keeping an eye on Bristol, and that's where the ring came from. So I'm not going to call it information on Bristol, but technically that's what it means.
Okay, so it's kind of like an evolution of the Recap Bristol with you and Kai, right? So,
that's right. So yeah, me and Kai started Recaps blogs and reviews back in, I think, around 2019, maybe a little bit earlier than that. And that was born out of frustration. We both love Bristol. We love like the entrepreneurs, the creators, and all these people, but they don't have a platform that really includes all of them. You had Bristol Post, and they sort of were doing the whole city news thing, but as you know yourself, some of their content and some of their stuff really goes against what Bristol's about with the inclusivity and diversity and stuff. Bristol 24/7 came out hot, and I really thought they were doing great. But I don't mean this in a offensive way. That's become kind of like the white publication. And I don't really see a lot of diversity within that platform. You see little bits here and there, but it seems to be like they're trying to hit that diversity quota rather than actually caring, if that makes any sense.
And creating like meaningful content.
That's right, yeah. And like you don't see young guys popping up at like say the MMG Awards and stuff. Like every media publication in the city should be there to do that. Someone from Bristol in St. Paul's created this incredible movement and this crazy mobile-minded like entrepreneur space, and like that's so rare. And Bristol Post and Bristol 24/7 days weren't interested, and that sort of thing. That's what upset us, and that's where RBR came from. Like frustration. There isn't a real platform. No one really cares, and we just took it upon ourselves to do that. But we came across a problem where we were trying to post a lot of Bristol people's stuff, or we'd make stuff out of their content, and they might like the post, but they wouldn't share it. Or they won't like, or we'll tag them, or we'll put it on their page, and they'll show no love whatsoever. So we were just like, well, why are we doing this then? Why are we trying to help? So we then became an international platform. We started speaking to international artists. We started going to these events, and I hooked up with Street Heat through Clubhouse, and it became like an American platform. We do have a heavy Irish following, for about 5,000 plus from this big Irish gangster story we posted. But mainly it's the US platform, so it is starting to spread everywhere else. But we're going to Board Masters next week, so I'm trying to bring it back to that UK feel. But again, this is one of those brands that we can work for anybody across the world, because we made so much content with so many different people, and we've worked with news organisations. We've chopped up news content and stuff, and gone viral because of it. So like that platform. It's its own monster. It became something else, And then again, a conversation about there's no real platforms in Bristol. There is stuff. You got guys like Word Life, and you got guys like Ace Brown who've got that massive shop now. You got Smoke Loud UK. They've got their own platforms, but they're so niche and around their own people it's kind of like it's like a gatekeeper situation. You have to sort of know those people to be in there. Like, you don't have to know me, you don't have to be cool with me to get on Ion Bristol. Like, Ion Bristol became an extension of RBI. I brought it back to Bristol, which is like, right, let's get people back onto what's going on in Bristol. And I'm not even asking people permission to post their content. I'm taking it and I'm just like boom, 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 because they won't do it themselves.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And a lot of people won't use these platforms because they come from an era before social media. They come from like, oh yeah, I'll just put it on YouTube, all my gang will share it, and boom, that's it. It's like, that's not enough anymore. That's cool if you want to be the local guy, but if you want to get out there in the world of social media and you want to be on these big stages like Glastonbury, and like, you need to have these social media presence. Half the time they don't even care about your talent; they want the numbers.
Yeah,
and that's what my platform's about.
Okay, so at the moment it's just you and Kai.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you're kind of in the building stages. Yeah. So where do you see it in, like, let's say 6 months?
Okay, cool. So we've got this booking with Smoke Loud UK to go to Boardmasters, and I've already spoken to Tokyo World and a new festival that's coming to Bristol. I just took a picture of another one that's going on at Arnolfini. So I want RBR and Ion Bristol to sort of become like an event platform where we're always out there at events, meeting all these brands and artists and that sort of stuff, and become like a news platform for all of that too, because we do have that in Bristol. But again, they'll have to just take pictures or maybe get interviews. I want to be the company that's like, we're on stage talking to Busta Rhymes at Tokyo World. You know what I'm saying? I want to be that platform. I don't want to be these guys that just stood by the fence and it's like, yeah, let's take some pictures. Yeah, great. And like, no, let's get behind the scenes. Let's talk. Like, Busta Rhymes is coming here. Like, you're telling me there's no Bristol platform that set up an interview podcast with him, nothing from because I know Buster. So Buster works at Street Key. We've done videos with him.
Okay.
So like, I've spoken to him and he's like, yeah, no one's really hit me up for anything. It's like, what?
I need to connect for the podcast, bro. I'm saying it on here because I need to sit down with him.
I can probably speak to Will C for you and get Buster on the podcast. You know?
Yes, bro. I'll go to him.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be more than happy. So I'm in speaks with Tokyo World about that. I'm trying to get Street Heat access. We might even get the guys from the US over here, and that'd be wicked. If we can get the whole team over here, madness.
Yeah, you'll see me on that. Trust me. So, okay, so that's 6 months. So, what's the vision for it? Like, obviously, you said it's about a platform. It's about creating something that doesn't have that criteria, those barriers that stop people getting through. So, what is like the end game? Like, what does it look like when it's fully formed?
So, okay, so I'd like it to have a record label because Bristol doesn't have industry. Bristol has labels, Bristol has artists, Bristol doesn't have industry.
Right, stop there, yeah? I've had conversations with lots of people. What he means when he says industry, he means infrastructure.
Yeah.
Infrastructure so that a business can operate self-sustaining. So, for example, yeah, if you're talking about a record label, right, an industry, what that means is, from an infrastructure perspective, is you have A&Rs that have links with the Virgins and the EMIs and all the big record labels that are in London and in America, New York and in Atlanta and in California. You have A&Rs that are part of an international network that can make things happen for you, connect you with I Love Live and all the other big industry events that happen. So that's A&Rs, yeah? Also, obviously, like the links to the radio shows. So you can go on BBC One Extra, you can go on the iHeart radios, you can go on the KISS, you can actually do a press run. With infrastructure, you can do a press run where you go to each city, you go on their biggest radio stations, they play your song, you get plays, you can sit down and have interviews. Kind of like in America what they do with Funkmaster Flex on Hot 97 or The Breakfast Club on Power 105. They have infrastructure so that you can go on a press tour and promote your project while it's out. Obviously, as well as infrastructure with A&Rs and the links to the radios, you have organizations like links to record labels that hire professional camera people and journalists, and you can build a team like booking agents. So booking agents are important, A&Rs are important, obviously managers are important, and lawyers, that entertainment lawyers specifically, because law, people think, oh, I can just get a lawyer. No. There's criminal law, there's family law, but you need an entertainment lawyer that knows about entertainment contracts. You need an accountant and a finance person and a business partner.
That's the most important part.
that can tell you about when you get your money, that you're supposed to pay 40%.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens to you if you don't?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to say any names, but there are big names that you can go and look at that thought, oh, I'm rich now.
I'm good. Yeah.
Spent all the money gone. But then when you've got to pay your taxes and you've got to pay your charge for not paying your taxes, then you're back down to zero. So all those things, that's what he means by infrastructure. Sorry to cut you.
No, that's totally fine. And that's exactly what I meant. And like, when was the last time you saw a Bristol artist at the Mobos? When was the last time you saw a Bristol artist at the Grammys or anything like that? A lot of people think, oh, just put my music out and if it gets spotted, I'll get to the Grammys. Like, no, you need an entire team and you need to be part of an organization to get you registered to be at Mobos and Grammys. You have to be registered through these companies. You can't just turn up with music and be like, yeah, cool, I'm going to get a Grammy. Like, no, there's an entire infrastructure behind that to get you there. And that's what we don't have here. We don't have people here that either know about it or care enough to do something about it. And that's exactly where I'm headed with the record label. So Ion Bristol's record label, I'm getting someone from Bristol into the charts. We're getting number ones. We're getting to the Mobos. That is the aim for the record label and the whole media behind that. With 10 years of experience myself and Kai with the awards and the experience that he's got, we can take an artist. We can give them a whole massive marketing and media push, just us two on our own, let anyone else we can get involved in, and we can get them a Mobo. We can get them into the Grammys because we know people like on Clubhouse, the people that I'm connected to. I know the guy that runs the Grammys. You know, I mean, I know Uncle Jams, who's like all of his artists have got Grammys. You know, I mean, I can talk to him. He can just put me in touch with people. Like, yep, you need to go here, here, here. I've got the connects to do all of this stuff. And I literally just a case of I was sat down one day. I was frustrated. I was like, again, we tried to do this thing. It didn't work out properly. And I think it's because we didn't put Bristol on the brand name. Because as soon as I did Ion Bristol, my phone went nuts. It was like, why are you doing a Bristol platform? Doing a Bristol platform. Like people that I didn't think I was cool with was hitting me up, and they were like, you know, what's up? I want to be part of this thing. It's like, all right, cool. And it's like, so I think maybe if Recaps, Blogs, and Reviews was RBR Bristol, it may have done better.
Yeah, I see what in hindsight, I see what you mean. But at the same time, maybe as well, it was the timing.
Yeah.
You see, timing's a big thing, innit? So sometimes people are not ready.
When we launched, we were just before the lockdown happened. So 2019, just before lockdown.
And then everything changed.
Yeah, and then when we were stuck inside, not being able to do very much, I was trying to build a fitness company for online fitness, and I was building an RBR at the same time. And both of them just took off because everyone was inside on the internet, and it just worked out well for us. And all this following came in, like especially in Ireland, like they really helped us. When them 5,000 followers came through, we were going viral all over the world for different stuff, and like. And shout out to Johnny Depp and Amber Heard as well, because without you, we wouldn't hit 1 million views in a month. Like, that was crazy. Wow. Mad numbers, bro. And again, that's what inspired. Like we neglected the Instagram for so long because we were focused on the fact that Facebook was blowing up. But now taking that from like 100 followers and maybe 10k views to like within 3 months, we have over a million views, and we're up to nearly 600 followers now. And like people are hitting me up for all sorts of stuff. Can you post my story? Can you post this? Can you post that? I'm like, well, yeah, cool. It'd be your paying, isn't it? It's not a free platform no more. Like it's got to a point now.
Sustainable, isn't it? So.
And again, when we started, it was a free platform for people. We were literally taking those music videos and doing your top 5 music. I'm pretty sure I did one for you. I did for Ellis. I did one for Crazy, and the only person who shared it was you. You know what I mean? So like,
obviously, this is just my journalist perspective now, not as an artist. Bristol is like a complex scene with like, it's intricate in terms of the relationships, isn't it? So there is a lot of politics.
A lot.
There's probably more than what there needs to be.
Way more.
For the size
and
of
petty stuff as well.
Yeah, and it's kind of, but then I mean I say yeah, but then to the individual it's not petty.
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah, that's true.
People take things serious, innit?
Yeah. We to us it's petty, but to them it could be.
And I guess the thing is. And I don't have an answer for it, but I would just love to see the youngers grow out of that.
And I think with the drill scene gets a lot of hate, but I've been watching it recently. These youngers are doing stuff.
Are you, and when I say you, I don't mean you personally, I mean audiences. If you feel that drill is the problem, then do you think that these things don't happen outside on the street without that genre of music?
Exactly.
All they're doing is expressing their reality.
Exactly. I think it's like the hate that drill is getting now is the same hate that NWA were getting.
The same what grime was getting.
And grime was evil.
When grime was first around, it didn't have like.
You're gonna get stabbed if you go to grime.
And the thing is, grime was raves.
Yeah.
They play drill in the clubs. You can go to the club and rock out to drill, and you'll be reasonably safe because there's bouncers, there's like you know what I'm saying. When grime came out, it was in like a basement or in a dungeon where there was no security, security. So they said that grime was the same, but without grime, without obviously garage before that, without drill, like what do we have then in the UK? I mean, music-wise, that's ours. Like, and the thing
Exactly.
is, drill has influenced the world. Obviously, it kind of started in Chicago, but UK drill
Inspired everybody.
has kind of brought back New York hip hop.
It has.
Like New York hip hop drill is the same as our drill now, instrumentally. So drill is like you can say what you want about it, but it's for the youngers, it's by the youngers, and it's like it represents who they are. Society is not. You can't blame a genre of music for how society is. That's my only point.
And it's not all violent too. If you actually look into drill, there's a lot of really great drill music that has nothing to do with violence at all.
That's what I'm saying. There's songs for girls. There's songs for everyone. It's actually a genre. It's not like a fad or a phase. It's actually something that's growing. These young kids are making money.
Money.
Drill. Like there's never been more money in music.
Never.
Before drill. Ask anyone who's made it in music, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Ask the Wileys, ask all these big people, yeah? The drill people, in a short amount of time, have made what some people have made their whole careers or more.
Hood Rich is a massive household brand now because of drill music.
We talked about infrastructure, we talked about what you want it to be. So, apart from the record label, what else do you want?
Like a real media platform. Like you see with like World Star. So like RBR to me is a little bit like the UK's World Star. We got all sorts of mad stuff on there. We got viral hits for like dumb stuff. But we're starting to really try to bring that professional edge back. And I took that from World Star. So I also know the guy who runs World Star. I talk to him quite often. And he said the same sort of thing. We used to do shit post, bro. We used to just post all sorts of stuff and see
just
what comes.
Get traction and see what works.
Exactly. And now he's got a website that's got like over 20 million subscribers, you know what I mean, who pay for that website and they get all these free videos and stuff. And the people that are on that website just from music videos alone, that's a Hall of Fame list. I mean, you got guys like Busta Rhymes on there, you got Jim Jones on there, you know what I mean? Papoose, like he's crazy. And literally like people like Papoose are like, I'm not doing music videos with anybody else apart from World Star and Street Heat. So that's like an exclusive thing now, which is crazy. You couldn't do that back in the day. Like anybody with a camera, you could jump on, but now Papoose like, no, this is exclusive.
So media, record label, how is it going to be different is my question.
What we don't have in Bristol, I mean, we do now because of MMG, but we don't have a real solid Bristol magazine.
Shout out to Skrilla, by the way.
Shout out Skrilla and Kev,
shout out to Kev, yeah, because on a real, yeah, like what she does a lot of things behind the scenes. Obviously, you've got Mogul Minded Magazine, you've got the MMG Award. Is it MGM Awards? Sorry.
MMG, Mogul
Minded. It is
MMG,
yeah. MMG Awards, and you've got the Mogul Minded Magazine, yeah.
Oh, bro, that magazine is different.
What she does, infrastructure-wise, and to help and support people is like, you can't put a price on it, and she just does it because A, because she can, and B, because she actually cares.
Yeah.
Same with Kev, yeah. They do things because they are good at what they do, yeah? So shout out to you lot. I appreciate and respect you lot.
Big grant they just got for the youth then. That's a
But who's doing those things?
And why aren't big media platforms talking to her about it? Like that's a monumental move.
Of course.
I mean that's something that's history, not just something that's happened in Bristol. That's huge. She's got a massive grant for the youth, and she's from St. Paul. She ain't got to do stuff like that. She can quite happily sit back and just do her own thing. She's an incredible rapper. MMG's gonna pay for her for the rest of her life.
She's just good. They're just good, like that, and they do things of value for people, and not just for themselves.
They started a trend in Bristol.
There wasn't anything to celebrate.
Exactly. So people who were just doing business were just doing it.
Like there wasn't anything. Like I've been honoured to perform at the first 3 award shows, and it's like you don't get that kind of unity where everyone can get together and just be cool for a day, wear a suit, have a nice meal. Like there's not anything like that.
Like I said, I was going with the magazine that they inspired this whole thing. So like Skrilla started a whole trend. I think this whole award show that started a whole trend of entrepreneurs and people just taking their brands just way more seriously. And like I said, it was a competitive thing, so everyone wanted those awards. But the unity that came from that, the love that would be shown between brands, like, oh yeah, I saw it when you did it. Yeah, I loved your video. I remember that. And they would literally take screenshots that they were voting for you for this particular reason. No one else in Bristol has managed to bring people together like that. To me, I'm just like, all right, let's have an ad page. Let's have a story from somebody. Let's have a promotion. Let's have a mixtape cover that. And it'll be coming from everybody, from Bedminster to St. Paul's to Clifton to whatever. If you're in that BS sort of postcode thing, I'm here. Let's work. If you class yourself as Bristol, my platform is open, isn't it?
What's your key next steps in relation to making it like a bigger
So right now it's just mainly networking and getting to as many events as I can turn up at and just speak to as many people and just try and push this vision onto them. Again, we're only like 2 or 3 weeks into this Ion Bristol thing, and I've already got viral hits on Instagram and TikTok. Like people are loving it. Like my phone's been going crazy. People are just like, what is this Ion Bristol thing? Like people sending me their videos, yeah, can you chop this up and make a reel for me? Like, yeah, I can do that. You know what I mean? It's like, and I'd never had that before. People didn't care before.
Yeah.
And now they're throwing it at me, bro. And it's like, what I hope to do is just keep that momentum going. Turn up in all these places, shop places that you're not even going to expect me to turn up. Like, at the minute I've got this thing, I've got a bunch of business cards with Ion Bristol brand with a big like black and white eye. I'm just putting it on bus stops, I'm putting it on buses, I'm putting it on the back of taxis or whatever. I'm just leaving these little cards about and hoping people will just be like, what's this? I'm popping into little like independent business, like, I do social media, I do videos, bang, there's my card, give me a shout. And I'm just trying to show up. I'm just trying to be around as many people as I can. And there's how people are like, well, Ion Bristol, what is this? And then people are like, what is this Ion Bristol? I keep seeing these cards around. I just want people to start talking about it to the point where they're just looking for this Ion Bristol thing. It doesn't have to be about me or Kai or anybody's face. The face of the brand is Bristol.
Is the brand, yeah.
Bristol's the brand, bro.
And it's about getting that knowledge to the people that can use it and benefit their careers. And
See, that's the trick.
That's another thing. Is like I've been fortunate enough to have a lot of people impart knowledge on me. And I always make a point to do the same, as you know.
Yeah, of course.
But I feel like there are people that have gems that they don't share them because they're kind of waiting for their opportunity to use it. But it's like it doesn't work that way. It's like if you can help 10 people use it and that works, if you're about your ego, you can say to yourself, I made that happen. Or you can just make it happen.
Yeah, exactly that.
And see out of the 10 who make it. They won't all, but if you give it to 10 people, the likelihood of that formula working is higher, isn't it?
Bro, it's just knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power.
100%.
Steel sharpens steel, bro. And like
it does.
If you're gonna sharpen all these guys, right? These 10 guys that you sharpened are always gonna come back and like this guy helped me. This
they
guy
should. It doesn't.
I mean, not always.
Like, here's a little spoiler. Yeah, when I sit down with Will and he interviews me as an artist, yeah, when he's set up with his Ion Bristol, you'll hear some of the stories that I've not shared before. But it should work the way that he's saying. It should work that way. Yeah. People should be loyal. Like I've always made a point to be loyal to people until they are disloyal to me.
Exactly that.
Yeah, but if someone does a lot for you at the beginning of your career, you should always hold them in a certain regard, regardless, because they gave you things when you didn't have them.
When I met you, you were just jumping on that Wu-Tang thing, and you were like, yeah, let's do some videos. If you look back at that therapy video, trash, bro. But...
I know. I know. Do you know the thing is, it's funny. It's like, at the time I got flack for not using someone who was
way better,
like more popular, to do my first video with Wu-Tang, whatever. But it's like, that's not always what it's about. It's like if you give people opportunity in moments when you're having a moment, like you don't know what's going to become of it. Like, and of that person, you could have just done that video and I'd never seen you again.
Exactly. I mean, you could never have spoken again.
But that wasn't the case.
No.
Like you built a career and I've done what you've done, not because of that. But
no, but it definitely helps, bro.
But you see what I'm saying?
But you gave me a chance to do something different. I'd done a couple music videos, but it's one of them running gun out on the street, just filming guys in front of spots. It wasn't anything intricate. It wasn't really well thought out. You were the first guy to give me an idea, a treatment, and like, this is how we're going to film it. This is how I want it to look. All right, mate. It still didn't come out exactly the way we wanted it. But people did feel it, like Wu-Tang liked it, you know what I mean? The FATP guys liked it, like Mr. E and all them man were shouting out, and I was like, all right, cool. So even though when I look back at now, it's not a great video, but you can tell we've put the effort in there. You can tell we were trying a thing, we were trying to make it a movie.
I feel like there's a perception of success in terms of like you have to go straight to the 100% mark and be great straight away. Like my career has never been that way. Like when I started rapping, I wasn't as good then as I am now.
Dude, you're better now than you were when I first met you.
I had to put in my hours, bro. My 10,000 hours. Same with my production. I had to put in my hours.
And your production's cold now as well.
Do you see what I'm saying? Same like my songwriting for other people. I had to put in my hours. Same like my production. Like even the podcast that I film now myself. Like I've only just got the software. Like my second episode is better than my first one. Do you understand? Like,
it takes time. Remember, I used to edit on iMovie. When I was working with you, I had iMovie on my Final Cut Pro. Now, if I had that, the video would have been way better.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like...
But again, I didn't know these things either. Back then, I had no knowledge, bro. I was just this idiot kid Wiser who had this little brand who had a
Just
terrible
doing
little camera.
things.
Like, yeah, it wasn't even a good camera. Some terrible little 720 HD thing that lost focus every 5 minutes. Like, it was a terrible piece of equipment.
But it's learning. It's the learning tools, isn't
And because of you, I got booked by the Future Man to work with Tipper Irie, and it just kept going. I think it's because they saw it was serious. And then, like Mikey Freedom said, it's not even about who you are as a person or your quality of work. Your passion and your drive for this makes people want to work with you. And I've carried that my whole time. I'm always passionate about it. And when people see, like, people know somebody speak out online, I share my opinion, I get ratty, it's like, that's just passion. Like, I'm just trying to, like, if people have ever screwed me over, I'm angry about it because I was trying to take them to that next level. I know I can take them to it. And if they're not listening to me, they're not taking themselves as serious as I know that they can. It frustrates me because I'm just like, I can take you somewhere. We can really do something with this. I'm only ready now to go and do the Ion Bristol thing in Ball and go to Ball Masters for Smoke because I've worked for 10 years to get myself confident. If I don't, because back when I first met Smoke, I was like, take me to NAS, take me to here, take me to, I'll do it for free, bro. Let's just go to work. And he never hit me up. And at first I thought that was a little bit of an offensive thing. But when I hit him up the other day for it, he didn't even hesitate. He's like, how much do you want? I gave him a price. Like, yeah, cool. Sweet. No hesitation. And I sat and thought about it. It's like, maybe I wasn't ready then.
Yeah, and
maybe
it's true.
It wasn't time. You know what I mean?
And it's like, it's the same with anything. Like, you have to prove your worth to people. Like, you have to prove your consistency and, like, prove that you're actually reliable.
It'd be mad, bro. It's like these connections that I have can really help Bristol artists as well. It's just like, say, Uncle Jams and Auntie Jackie and Ross Dean and Botswell Studios, these people have platinum records. These people have connections you wouldn't believe. Like, Aunt Jackie, that's our name for her. She's got a whole big brand name. She's quite low key. But Aunt Jackie's first client was Mike Tyson.
Mad.
And Mike Tyson then got her first big celebrity bookings in the entertainment industry. So, like, she is backed by Tyson. Like, that's insane that Mike Tyson's like that. And, like, the podcast that he's doing, she helps set all that up. But what I like about you, you were the guy that was doing these videos. So, like, you broke Fire TV, you broke GB, you broke me. Like, the other guy, Sims as well, I'm pretty sure you broke as well. Like, there's a lot of people that you worked with. Either you paid them for the first time, or it's the first, like, serious video. Like, I think you did the Fire TV with the clowns, the chessboard, and all that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, do you know, I forgot about that.
Bruv, that's what hooked me to what you were doing.
That weren't his first video, but it was one of the first. Like,
yeah.
Same with, I think Sims was probably the only one who was already at a level before I worked with him.
But Sims popped early though. Like, he jumped in and same with Rebel too. Them two just popped real early in the season. But when they were around, there was no cameras, bro. So it was easy for them. As soon as you put, I'm making music videos, like, say what? Miranda Ray from Udemy Radio put it on me years ago. I am the urban journalist in Bristol. Like, there's no other platforms doing what I was trying to do. And, like, I still don't know, apart from maybe when Crazy was doing that FUTV thing. Like, I don't really think there's ever been another platform that's really gone into Bristol trying to show what's actually happening. Like, the one thing I really rated about him with the FUTV is when that heroin station that was outside the school. Oh yeah. That's a true piece of journalism. And, like, he was exposing. He wasn't aggressive with it. He wasn't horrible to him. He was like, do you really think it's a great place to have this place outside of a school or whatever and blah blah. And he was like, you didn't even see him, but it was a really good piece of journalistic content. And again, that kind of pushed me forward too. I was like, that's cool. I like that. We need more of that in Bristol. And that took me to go into the politics thing and start following George Ferguson around and Marvin Rees and all these people and asking them questions. And remember when we saved the house walk and I busted into that house. There's nothing, it's not even damaged in here. What are we talking about? Oh dear. Like, all that sparked from things that I saw from around the scene. And, like, what's mad is I knew nothing about the Bristol scene when I first popped on. Nothing. I didn't know who anybody was. I literally typed in Bristol music. The first thing that popped up was Skrilla. Underneath that was Crazy. I clicked on them two and the journey just kept going. And I met Crazy at that event. The BBC Word Life thing. The BBC Six. And I filmed you on that as well. That's right. Yeah. We did the showcase. That's when I met you officially, but I don't think we spoke again for a couple of months, and I worked with you a few months later. And then, because I was still on the iPad then, I said to you, no, I've got a camera and I was still thinking it. The iPad days.
It's mad.
And again, that was journalistic stuff. I was at that event anyway, and I knew about Stephen and Word Life. I was seeing him online and stuff, and I was like, oh, let's hang out for that. And so I got to work with Dash Bills and Ellis and yourself and Stephen and Skrilla and all these people. Got to meet Kev for the first time.
That's what it is. But bro, I appreciate you coming to sit down with me.
Anytime, brother.
We're going to sit down again.
Of course, man. Come on.
In like 6 months when
I was going to say to you, let's do a recap.
When Ion Bristol is, like, popping off and, like, I got to speak to, like, the middleman to get through to you and all those things.
Oh, listen, when you got to speak to Kai to get to me and, like, you're speaking to Kai. You're going to interview Kai soon too, isn't it?
Yeah, soon.
Bro,
soon.
Talk about the top 5
You see
list.
that one, yeah? that interview, because this is what I like about me being who I am, not to be boastful, but certain people won't sit down with anyone.
No.
They'll only sit down with me. Like, He's not done an interview before.
No, it's the first. I've been trying to get in.
And look how long you've been working with him.
We have a brand together for 5 years, and I can't get that guy to sit down.
I
and
was
talk
his
to me.
first customer though.
Mm-hmm. You were the first graphics, right?
I was his first customer when he took pictures before he did clothing.
That was that big BZ picture that was in that movie.
In the grade
film. That's right. He did that, innit?
Like, and I met him through his cousin. Still shout out my Don.
He's back now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Welcome home, Don. That's what his face was.
Did my first video.
Bruv.
Do you understand?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro.
But yeah, Kai, I was his first like official customer. Like, and again, I paid him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and he was refusing payments back then too. So he must have believed in you.
So you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I'm gonna sit down with him.
With your podcast, and again, this is the same sort of energy Ion Bristol has. It doesn't matter what level you're at, what your numbers look like, if people like you or not. If I've got a platform, come talk to me. This is at Ion Bristol. It's not Wisest Friends. This is Ion Bristol. What's going on out here? You don't have to know me personally. We don't have to be friends. I don't even have to like what you're doing. If it's a Bristol thing, come and talk to me. Like, don't get it twisted. You have to pay to get on my platform, but come and talk to me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, it's all love for everybody. Like, if I'll take it on this podcast now for people that are watching. If anyone thinks that I have beef with them or if I got a problem with them, like that's all dead. Like, I'm 35 years old. All that stuff's nonsense. Like, this online passive stuff is nonsense. Especially when I say stuff to you online, and then when you see me in public, what's up, bro? But that dead. Enough of that now. Show me the same love online. You're going to show me in personality, because I'm done with all this beef and stuff. I'm done with all this falling out with people over dumb stuff and business. Like, if we do bad business, that's your problem. You're going to go work with somebody else. But like, I'm done falling out with people. I'm done letting negative energy control me. I'm 35, bro. When I get to my 40s, I don't want to be sat there going, this person messed me over, this person did this to me. That's energy you don't want in your life. That's going to make you sick and put you in an institution. I'm all about love and positivity now.
And on that note, we're going to leave the podcast here, yeah? You heard it here first. Make it easy, the podcast. I am your host, B to the E to the Z. I'm here with Wiser, you're the influencer. Stay tuned for Ion Bristol, yeah?